people aren't just, seeing us on TikTok and then taking out a policy. They're seeing us on TikTok or Instagram, taking out a policy and then sending that TikTok to their friends or telling their friends about it, which obviously, for a startup who doesn't have the kind of marketing budget of those big insurers is really valuable to us.
If communicating your brand's values to Gen Z fills you with dread, you're not alone. From slang that seems to update on a weekly basis, to memes that can become passé in a matter of days, the generation raised on 24/7 access to the internet can be a tricky audience to win over. But some companies seem to have cracked the code, creating fun, engrossing content aimed squarely at a younger demographic and reaping the rewards in terms of customer engagement. Introducing Australia's Butter Insurance, a Sydney-based startup that's more likely to take its branding cues from the worlds of e-commerce and retail than the conventional trappings of financial services. Butter Insurance was founded in 2021 when friends Cassie and Steph Skevington found themselves bemoaning the lack of insurance options available to them over drinks at a party. The pair, from Australia and New Zealand respectively, realised that the solutions they were seeking offered something new and innovative to Australia's existing insurance market. And that goes well beyond branding. Butter has designed its products and services to cater to a new generation of insurance buyers, focusing on their specific needs over other market segments. So, why does so much insurance branding fall flat when targeting younger generations? What are the innovations that Butter sees as ripe for the Australian market? And what happens when founders and CEOs put themselves out there for the world to see? My name's Jack, and you're listening to Battleface Uncharted, a podcast brought to you by Battleface Travel Insurance. We speak to some of the travel industry's leading figures to discover the trends you need to know about. Joining me today to discuss those questions is Cassie. Before hitting on the idea of Butter Insurance alongside co-founder Steph, Cassie started her career as a corporate lawyer, a grounding that served her well in the world of insurance regulations. Earlier this year, Battleface partnered with Butter to provide customized, tech-driven solutions tailored to the modern traveler. To find out more about that partnership, follow the link in the podcast description. So, Cassie, what does most travel insurance get wrong when selling to younger people?
I think in particular in Australia, the issue is that people aren't selling to young people. Travel insurers aren't typically selling to young people. They're trying to sell to everyone. And obviously the reason for that is they want, the maximum number of policies coming through their door as possible, which I can understand. But I think young people have a very particular idea of what they want in not only a travel insurance policy, but the way that they can manage their insurance policy and make claims and change their policy and all of that kind of thing. And I think that niching down, I guess, if you want to call it that, or going after that younger demographic in particular, is important and makes a difference for young people when they're looking for travel insurance.
Got you. Yeah. I mean, you talked about kind of the particulars of what young people want from a product and I guess the support as well. Can you kind of give us a better idea of what that would be? I mean, how do you, how do you structure the products that you sell specifically so they do appeal to a younger demographic?
Yeah, so we worked with Battleface on designing the Butter travel insurance policy. So they obviously have quite a lot of optionality when it comes to kind of how you structure your policy, how much of it is optional, what's included. Do you want 3 excesses? Do you want 1 fixed excess? Do you want, all of these to have optionality in how much you're covered for, or none of them? So we kind of sat down with them, and Steph, my co-founder, and I sat down together and we thought, okay, how do we strike a balance between too much insurance for a young person and not enough insurance? And we kind of built the Butter policy around that. So a lot of the elements are fixed. We have those, standard expected inclusions like unlimited medical and COVID-19 cover and personal liability cover and baggage and all that kind of thing. but you can change or adjust your policy for the amount of cancellation you want. So, for younger people who may not have really expensive hotels that they're worried about, or really expensive business class flights, they might only want a little bit of cancellation, so they can kind of toggle that down a little bit. And the same goes for baggage. So a backpacker obviously isn't going to be as concerned about baggage as someone who has, a Louis Vuitton suitcase, if they're lucky enough to have that. So they can toggle that down as well. And that just makes the policy more affordable overall. We also have one fixed excess at $250, which we think is quite affordable for people. So we really think it strikes that balance between, not too much insurance, but just enough that it covers all the essentials that you really want to keep yourself safe when you're traveling overseas.
Right, you're right. I mean, obviously a big part of this equation is how you're talking to customers. Anyone who's checked out your TikToks featuring Josh from marketing, which, we will link to in a podcast description if people haven't seen these yet, they'll be familiar with how well Butter is using kind of humor and irreverence to get its message across. I'm curious kind of how this came about. It's obviously so kind of personality dependent.
Totally. So we have always been from day one really committed to building a community with our customers. Steph and I do all of our customer service. Actually, we oversee all of it. So we have those interactions with our customer on that level, but also, like you said, on a community and social level, where we're running these social accounts on Instagram and TikTok and posting in other forums as well, to try and connect with our customers on a different level to just transactional, I guess. So a lot of our videos have nothing to do with insurance. Actually, we do kind of office skits and silly videos like that, and people really love that part of our brand. They love to kind of see the behind the scenes. They don't want to be sold to all the time. They want to kind of get to know us as a company and a business that is not that kind of faceless insurance company that people are used to. So that's kind of the idea behind, I guess, our social strategy and our marketing strategy, is to really connect with our customers on a level that bigger incumbent insurers just can't and haven't tried to in the past.
Yeah, I mean that's really interesting in terms of I think kind of humanizing yourself, humanizing other members of the team, and the company in general. So as you said, it's not just a sort of faceless megacorp, which often a lot of
Yeah,
insurance companies can come
exactly.
across as. How much of a leap was that for you personally to be happy to kind of put your face out there and put your personality out there?
Oh, it's a bit daunting at first to kind of put yourself, in these videos and come up with these silly little jokes. And, you have this soul-searching moment where it's like, well, will anyone take us seriously? Like if we're doing, funny little skits online. But people really do, and people really love it. So I think the first couple we were a little unsure. And then of course they start picking up traction. We have amazing engagement on our content now, so it kind of gives you a little bit more confidence to get a little riskier and riskier each time, and we've seen that it's paid off in dividends, which is great.
Fantastic. Yeah, I mean, tell me about some of that response then. I mean, companies kind of, they're very eager, of course, for, sort of people to get involved and be a part of that conversation. Yeah, can you kind of elaborate on how that response has come about?
Yeah, so we're seeing kind of the customer journey come from, we'll post a TikTok video that will get a couple million views, and those customers, sorry, those views are worldwide, and we're only serving Australia at the moment, but we will see policies come immediately out of that. We have a feedback form, at the end of our quote flow that says, where did you hear about us? And a lot of those are TikTok and Instagram, and I think about 32% beyond that is word of mouth. So people aren't just, seeing us on TikTok and then taking out a policy. They're seeing us on TikTok or Instagram, taking out a policy, and then sending that TikTok to their friends or telling their friends about it, which obviously, for a startup who doesn't have the kind of marketing budget of those big insurers is really valuable to us. Having that kind of, people telling each other about our brand is really the sweet spot and where we want to be sitting in. So that's great.
Yeah, fantastic. Cassie, tell me how the partnership with Battleface came about and what problems it solves for Butter.
Yeah, so we launched our first product actually, which was a different product to travel. We were in the single item electronics space toward the end of 2023, and we began to look for a second vertical to kind of serve the demo that we had from that first product, which was, largely under 35s. So we went out and did a survey of those customers as well as not existing customers, and kind of said, what kind of insurance are you interested in? What would you like to see us bring out? And overwhelmingly, the response from our customers and those other people that we surveyed was a travel insurance product. I think it's something like over 70% of people under 50 at the moment would rather travel than buy property in the next 12 months. So
Wow.
it's it's huge. It's a really it's kind of a tailwind from COVID. People are making up for lost time, and I think everyone's just got travel on the front of their mind. So it was really a no-brainer for us to launch a travel product. After we decided to launch that product, we looked for ways to enter the market with basically the lowest barrier to entry. As a startup, you want to move as quickly as you can, and insurance underwriters in particular are not known for their speed to market, that's for sure. So we came across Battleface and saw that, their model was really partnering with brands and startups and providing that kind of licensing and underwriting support to get a product off the ground very quickly. And with Battleface, we were able to launch that product within, I think it was about 3 months, start from first meeting to first policy sale, which, anyone who knows insurance that's just amazing. So that's kind of how it came about. We just approached Matt, and the dominoes fell from there.
Fantastic. Yeah, I mean, I know from speaking to Australian team that speed to market is something that they take pride in, of course. But I'm curious as well about the kind of cultural fit between Butter and Battleface. I mean, is there a certain amount of friction that's avoided when you've got two companies that kind of just share so much of an outlook and in terms of maybe flexibility as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Battleface isn't, a baby startup anymore. It's more of a scale up, but it's still got that kind of startup mentality, which is build, grow, build, grow. And I think that's a mentality that is lacked in the Australian market, at least from, the underwriting capacity that's available here. It's much slower, like you said. So to have, that binder kind of sitting behind us and then Battleface pushing that relationship along so that we can get into market much quicker is a great cultural fit for us. We both are aligned in that kind of speed to market growth, product development, let's develop quickly mindset, which is awesome. They they really take on our feedback from what we're seeing from our customers and the demand from our customers for different products or product tweaks. And yeah, we're working with them to kind of build new products and get them out as soon as we can, which is awesome.
Cassie, you talked about how Butter was formed as a reaction to kind of what was being offered at the time. I'm curious whether you've noticed a shift in the market since then. Are other companies trying to play catch up, as it were?
I think there's always an element of, for lack of a better term, or I don't know if this is an Australian term, but mutton dressed up as lamb. And what I mean by that is sometimes, startups will enter a market and you will see incumbents kind of slap a bit of paint or a new brand name on a product and like try to do the same thing. I think there's always an element of that, not just in insurance. And I think customers are smarter than that, to be honest. I think they can kind of see through the dressing up of a shoddy product that already exists in the market. And I think they want something new and fresh. So yeah, I think there are people who are chasing that kind of fresh outlook and trying to be, you know, different. But if you look a little bit deeper, it's kind of all the same thing. I think.
Well, I mean, leading on for that, then, I mean, looking at the Australian market more generally, what innovations do you think we're going to see over the next 5 years or so? Where are the areas where, innovation really is long overdue?
Yeah, so I mean, I think AI is obviously the hottest topic at the moment. We have actually just been working with Battleface to bring out our AI feature, which we call Butterbot. It's, as far as we know, the first use case of OpenAI for first notice of loss in an insurance setting in the world, which is really cool. So we've been working closely with them to make sure that Butterbot is compliant and doesn't give any financial advice, and is also, compassionate to customers who are potentially in overseas in a tricky spot. So that's been a really interesting thing to work on, with Battleface, and we're quite excited to bring that out. Beyond AI, I think embedded insurance, has been a focus for a little while now, and will continue to be a focus. Butter is looking at more of a true embedded model. So what I mean by that is looking at partnering with neobanks, payment software, and travel partners, and offering insurance as an included benefit to those services. So not like a, buy your flight, add-on insurance. It's kind of, pay for your flight and your insurance is already included in the trip, which I think is kind of the way of embedded insurance of the future, is that true embedded model. Beyond that, I think we'll probably start seeing more startups enter the Australian market. We are a little bit behind the rest of the world in terms of insurtech, unfortunately, but I think we will catch up as we caught up with the rest of the fintech umbrella. So hopefully we see a little bit more innovation down here soon. That would be nice.
Finally, then, Cassie, I mean, what message would you give to CEOs or founders who are maybe reticent about putting themselves out there, such as you have yourself, whether that's on social media or elsewhere?
It's a good question. I think more and more, whether you like it or not, being the founder or in management of a company, it requires you to be front facing. So, it's not just kind of putting out a press release and jotting down a couple of quotes anymore. It's really being the face of that brand and owning that brand. So when times are good, times are good. When times are bad, times are bad. And you kind of have to be the face of that company for both of those things, and have the dialogue with your customers and both of those times. I think that's really important. And I think customers are coming to expect that kind of engagement from leadership of businesses. And if it's not there, it kind of comes off as, I don't know, a little bit sneaky, or it's kind of like, what are you hiding? Why are you so afraid not to, be the front of the company? So I would encourage people to just have a go, put yourself out there. It seems really scary at first, but I promise you it gets easier. And just ignore the haters and have fun with it.
You've been listening to Battleface Uncharted, brought to you by Battleface Travel Insurance.